Okay, we're live. Hi, everybody. Jesse Dobeck here. Welcome to the Beyond Big Influence Show with Jesse Dobeck. I know it's Sunday, and sometimes I go live on some days, and some days I don't. But today is a very special day. I have a very special friend of mine, Daven Michaels, on the show today. And there's been a lot of people asking me about this topic. So we're going to bring him on the show to talk about how to outsource your influence when you're running a business or you want to start a business. And in today's world, you better be starting an online business. You better be an entrepreneur, because who knows what's happening out there in corporate America. And who better to have on the show today than a guy that's been an entrepreneur since he was 15 years old. All right, he has, how many businesses are you part of, or you have, Daven? I saw you.
I actually not that many, just a few. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Only 123 businesses. That's it. He didn't stop with just one. He just kept going and kept going and kept going. So if you're out there, make sure you share this out.
It's actually just a few. It's the 123 companies, which is my company. So it's just a few.
Yeah, 123 companies. So
yeah.
So, Daven, I did not even know what an entrepreneur was until I was about 27 years old, around, give or take. I'm 37 now. So I've been an entrepreneur full time since I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah. But so I want to talk about, and I want you to talk about how you became an entrepreneur at 15. What inspired you to do that? Did you have to do that? Did your parents get you into it? How did that happen?
Yeah, it's great to be with you, Jesse, and your audience. For me, when I was 15, I was in high school. I hated high school. I graduated high school at 15, and not because I was smarter, or not because I was smarter than the rest. I just hated it. So I guess I was actually, I was graduated by 15 or 16. Sorry, 16. I think it was when I was fully graduated. So what happened was, I hated high school. I felt like I wanted to get on with my life. I knew I wanted to start a business. I didn't know exactly what it was going to be, although I did have an idea. And so what happened was I was able to bounce out of school. I took the GED, but I stayed in school because my parents wanted me to. And so I did a continuation school where I could just show up once a week and get my work and then go home and do it. And then I doubled up on that. So by the time I was 16, I was actually graduated from high school. And then I was able to start my business, and I didn't have any money. I just had drive. That was it. And I was designing clothing for music groups, and it was in the early 80s. My bands had nothing going on. Most were playing their garage or very small venues. But an amazing thing happened a short while after I opened for business. MTV came on the air, changed the face of music, changed my life. I was working with these bands that had nothing going on. Within about 90 days, most of my bands had record deals. Within a year, they were selling millions of albums, and we rode that wave. And so I remember, first we were playing small venues like 600 people, and then 2,000 people, and then 10,000 people, and then stadiums, 50,000 people. And it literally went like that because we would fly out. They would bring us in through the backstage because the band would get there early for sound check, but we would fly out. We would arrive minutes before they go on stage, and they would always bring us up through the backstage. So they bring us back, and then we could see the audience, and it was like, like that. And then a little bit bigger. And then one time it was just like, bam. And it was like, what is going on here? It was astounding. And I was designing clothing for all the biggest bands of the 80s and 90s, not all, but many: Prince, Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, Thompson Twins, Duran Duran. And that was fun. And so, one of the reasons why I was able to start my business so early is I was driven. I didn't know that I couldn't do it. I was an only child. My parents kind of encouraged me to do whatever I wanted to do, whether it was a good idea or a dumb idea. And so I did it. And then also I was very fortunate. Something really cool happened. So my parents wanted me to go to college. I didn't think I was college bound, but I was willing. And so when I graduated high school, I started going to a local JC, a local community college. And today, if you go to any college, there's a million entrepreneurship programs, right? With an entrepreneurship emphasis. Back then, there were zero. There were none. And so I enrolled at local college, and there were these two maverick entrepreneurs that had made tons of money in the 50s and the 60s. They were the first guys to ever put an offer on the back of a box of cereal. And they made millions from that alone, which back then was worth tens of millions of dollars. And they were retired, but they were bored. And so as a give back, they taught this 1-year entrepreneurship immersion course at the local college. And it
Wow.
was like a few hours a night, and I took that class, and I think they just got a kick out of me. I was like a novelty. I'm a kid in this class, and but they took me under their wing, and which was really cool. Now, most of what I've learned from doing, but they just taught me at a young age that it was possible. They were like, you could do this. And I was like, really? And I mean, I thought I could do it, but to have these two adult, successful entrepreneurs tell me, you could do this was like a big deal. And,
wow.
And so I did. And it was crazy. And so first there was my clothing company, and that did quite well. And then from there, the next thing is I was very interested in residual income. Now, of course, now all your businesses, you have residual income, but for me, that was like a novelty. I didn't know anything. And in my clothing company, I did not have residual income. It's like if they reordered, great, but they weren't like on an auto pay where they had to pay for their clothes every month, right?
Yeah.
And so I was kind of enamored with this. So I started this telecommunications company. It was tough in the early days. We were really bootstrapping. I remember when we ran out of money, I was literally me and my staff. We would go out all night and put flyers on cars, and then in the morning we'd be on the phones taking those calls. And but 5 years later, we were in 60 cities across the U.S. I sold to a public company. I took back stock in that company. Half that company got bought out, and that moment in time changed my entire life. From there, I became the biggest electronic music event producer in the U.S. I would throw parties for 15 to 20,000 people a night. How'd you like to be on my guest list? And because of that built-in fan base, I had a short career as a recording artist because I could put on my own concerts, have 20,000 people show up to see me. So I had a couple of albums out, I toured, and then people started asking me to produce for them. So I started writing and producing, thinking I'd go back to being an artist, but my career as a writer-producer took off. And that was
How old are you at this point, Daven?
Oh, I was older by then. I was probably in my late 30s, maybe, something like that. I'm thinking, I'm really bad.
About 15 years in the game at that point?
Something like that. Well, actually, music. Yeah, I measure everything in girlfriends. So let me think. I've been with Liz for 12 years and then Martin for that. So I would say this incident, I'm like 50, I think I'm 54. Yeah. So I was probably around 34 at the time. Okay. And I had a record label. My partner, Layla, she discovered Tupac, and that like plummeted me into the hip hop world. So what happened was I was doing electronic music, but I really wanted to do hip hop as a stepping stone to do pop music. I wanted to do like, Mandy Moore and Britney Spears and really like poppy stuff, because it's very challenging to do that kind of stuff. Like that kind of music, it actually requires a lot of ingenuity. So I knew I felt that I'd be good at that. And so it was strategic, that partnership with Layla, and then she discovered Tupac, and then that plummeted me into hip hop. So I was in all kinds of awesome bands. I did. Who did I work with back then? Black Eyed Peas, Samantha Mamba, Coolio.
When you say you worked with them, what did you do with them?
So it was writing and producing. So it depended on the project. So my goal was always to do as much as possible, because that's how you make the most amount of money. So if I have like a newer artist where I'm writing their lyrics, their music, and I'm doing the producing, then I get a piece of the publishing as well as points, and that's how I make the most amount of money. But it wasn't always like that. So, for example, if I was working with somebody like Coolio, with Coolio, he would write his own raps, right? He didn't want me to write the rap, so I would write the music and he would write the rap, and then the production would either generally be me, sometimes it'd be a collaboration. So I did that for 15 years, I think, and then. And then Napster came out, and there were 50 million people downloading free music. And I saw the writing on the wall. I said, there's not going to be a music business anymore. And I bounced. Now, today there is still a music business, but it's a fraction of what it used to be, because back then we would charge $18 for an album. So if you liked a song, you would pay $18. Now you pay $10 for all you can eat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But at the time, it was with 50 million people downloading free music. It was like, why would anybody pay for music again? But then Apple came out and did something astounding, and it was so brilliantly designed that people said, I'm willing to pay, which was insane, right? To go from free to paying again, right? It's like somebody telling you, your dry cleaning is now free. And then somebody comes up with this bitchin' dry cleaning company, and people are, oh, it's so cool, I want to pay for it, right? I mean, so it's hard to believe that actually happened. So when that happened, I bounced and I started producing television only because I knew production. I didn't know what else to do. Like that's what I was used to, was production. Didn't know how to produce television though. And this was at the beginning of the early days of reality television. So I hired like 100 people. And what was funny is they were really teaching me the business. They didn't realize that, except for the top people. But, I hired some of the best, and then they taught me. And so then I was producing TV for a few years, didn't really have any hits in television because I wasn't there very long, because I had a little phone room in Asia. And the reason I had that is because I was in a publishing deal with my buddy, Ian Rich. He brought me in on it, and that took me to that side of the world several times a year. And I started this little phone room for our business. And then one day I was like, maybe we could offer this as a service. And so we started offering it as a service, and it was a really bumpy road. The infrastructure wasn't there yet. We failed several times. And it was pretty interesting. There were some definite tipping points in our business. So what happened was, initially when we opened the company, we were a U.S. company doing outsourcing in the Philippines. Yeah. First of all, outsourcing was a dirty word. It was it was a bad thing. And so we would get calls every day, pick up the phone, 1, 2, 3, and be like, fuck you, boom. Fuck you, we're going to burn your offices down. Fuck you, we're going to kill you. I mean, it was not cool. Yeah, it was not cool. And we would get emails like that too. We would at least get a few hate or email calls a day. And one of the tipping points in our business was when Tim Ferriss's book came out, right? The 4-Hour Work Week. That, that was a big game changer for a lot of people. For us, it allowed us to go from, trying to defend ourselves to educating our market. And so that was a big tipping point in our business. When we went from marketing to one to marketing to many, that was a big tipping point in our business. When we hired our first C-levels, that was a big tipping point in our business. And today we have almost, because we're hiring up for a big launch coming up right now, probably about 850 employees on 3 continents. So, we've come a long way since the early days.
Yeah. And so just so you guys know, I'm having Daven on the show because, in my business, Influencer Soft and everything I'm doing there is a lot of need, and everybody's asking, how can I get people to do things at a reasonable price, but at a high level? And that's what Daven's been working. How long have you been working on this outsource your influence type business?
Okay, well, 1, 2, 3 Employee, which is my company, was born, I think, about 14 years ago. We've been in the business for well over a decade. Yeah. And when we first opened our doors, everything was voice-based. So we were primarily 85% voice-based, and we were pretty much in 3 niches. It was real estate, mortgage, and debt consolidation. That was just the time period that we're in. Today, 99% of our business is web-based. Social media probably makes up for about 85% of it. And we work with entrepreneurs all over the globe doing all the busy stuff in their business, busy stuff, BS, so that they can focus on the income-generating activities in their business and the things that really juice them and excite them. For larger companies, it's customer service. For smaller companies, it's all internet marketing, social media, telemarketing, back office tasks, inbound, outbound, voice, client support. Our mission at 1, 2, 3 Employee is to rescue lifestyle-starved entrepreneurs, give them their time back and their lives back. And we love doing it. We've been doing it for, like I said, 14 years. So over the last few years, probably less than that, couple years maybe, I believe we've gone into the age of the influencer, right? That's the age that we live in right now, age of influence.
Influencer, beyond big influencer, right?
That's right. Absolutely. And so we filled a massive amount of requests for that. And so for people that want to be influencers, we're primarily working their social media. We're doing their YouTube. We're doing their LinkedIn. We're doing their Instagram and their Facebook. And then we're also doing joint ventures with influencers, right? Because making deals with influencers is a great way to get the word out, to expand your brand and make more sales. And so we're doing a massive amount of it.
What type of influencers are you looking for there, Daven, on that front?
Well, we work with all types of influencers. So we work with many that are in the business niche. I'd say that's probably our biggest group. But, then it goes all the way out to hip hop stars and reality TV people.
Is there any names you can name, or you can't say anything?
Some of the clients, I'm supposed to kind of keep it quiet, but
okay,
but on the business,
beyond big.
But on the business side, plenty of our business clients don't mind us sharing who they are and what we're doing. I'm just trying to think of some. Raymond Aaron, he's been a client for well over a decade. I'm trying to think of some of our other ones, but we have a ton. As a matter of fact, half the time I don't even know who our clients are. Like I'll just be speaking on some stage somewhere, and they'll come up to me saying, I've been a client for years. So, but if they're the who's who of info marketers, they're probably either a 123 client, a 123 employee client, or a former 123 employee client.
Yeah. I'm sure you have quite a few. And anybody out there listening right now, and I know there's people in our Facebook group, the Influencer Soft Inner Circle, definitely pay attention to Daven Michaels. We're going to tell you about how you can get his 3-day masterclass or web class that he's doing in just a second, and how you can start outsourcing to get really cheap labor. And it's not cheap, like it's not good. It's just inexpensive, right? It's just
absolutely
high quality people overseas where their cost of living's lower. They're excited to have a job. You can start working with them, and they're working on sales, they're working on social media management, probably building your web pages and building your funnels, and helping you achieve beyond big influence, outsourcing your influence, and allowing you to keep your money and your profits in your business, but still achieve the result that you want to achieve. Because a lot of people, they try to go and they insource, or they don't outsource, and they go to somebody in the US and they're paying a lot of money for that labor when they could be outsourcing it and then doing the stuff that's routine for Daven's community and the people that he's trained overseas to do these clockwork activities. See, that's why you want to pay attention to what Daven has to say. So Daven, what do you have to say about that? Because I know you've been building this for, I think you just said like 14 years or so. What's the evolution process? Where is it at today? What level is this at versus the cost associated?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, at the end of the day, I mean, of course you want to think about the cost savings, but really you want to think of hiring people that are competent, people that are remote, so that you're free to travel and you don't have to manage a bunch of employees like me, right? Although what's cool is, for the last decade, I've been running my cell phone from a laptop and cell phone from some of the most exotic places on the planet. And I have a brick and mortar business. And it's just because of the systems and processes that I've put in place. But I'll give you a classic example. So, and I'm just going to dovetail into this anyways, Jesse, because we were going to talk about it anyway. So
absolutely, let's roll into it.
Yeah. So this is a crazy time that we live in, right? You couldn't write the script if you tried, right? It's a classic example of truth being stranger than fiction. And what I do know, I don't know how it's all going to fare. How it's all going to end up in the end. I know that we're all going to survive it. Well, not all, right? But I think most of us entrepreneurs will be okay. Or I can't even say that, but I know you and I are going to be okay, and I hope the people are watching this. But the reality is, not everybody's going to be okay, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And the people that are going to be the hardest hit by this, and it breaks my heart, are really like the mom and pop shops, right? The service businesses, the small restaurants and dry cleaners, and these businesses that have been around for decades. And they're not like some incredible, there's plenty of success stories, but most of these are not like incredible success stories. They're bread and butter businesses, right? Mm-hmm. They've managed to, a family survived off of it for decades. It's been enough to put food on the table, kids through school, decent lifestyle, didn't make them rich, but, they had their own business, right? And those are going to go under, right? So many of those have gone under already. And that just breaks my heart. And I have to think, well, what's next for these guys, right? They're pretty much unemployable, right? I mean, I don't see them going back to the workforce, right? So what's going to happen? They're going to start something new, right? They're going to start something new, but
they'll have to. They're forced.
They're going to have
to survive. They got to start something new. Absolutely.
That's right. But the reality is that, for many of these guys and gals, they're in brick and mortar businesses. Brick and mortar businesses are not inexpensive to start. When I first started in business, we didn't have the internet. And so My first business was brick and mortar. And for me to open this business, I had to invest. I had to rent a building. I had to do all the leasehold improvements. I had to build it out. I took a massive risk to start my business. Now, today, it's a lot easier, right? If you're starting an online business, there's almost no barrier to entry, but there's high competition, right? Because anybody could do it. But it certainly leveled the playing field and made it easier for people. So what do I know? I know that people who've lost their jobs or people who have lost their businesses, they're going to have to do something. And so what I see is I think there's going to be a massive decrease in these small businesses, which is very sad, and a massive increase in micropreneurship, right? People, running their businesses from their computers, right? People creating these home-based businesses. And my partner, Chad Nicely, and I, we really wanted to be a cause for change. So 6 months ago, when all this started to happen, we or maybe 5 months ago, it was just about 5.5, 6 months ago, we sat down, we said, you know what? This is going to be, pardon my French, a shit show, right? This is going to be bad. And we're like, how can, and look, we profit from our businesses, so I'll always be fully transparent. But I was like, you know what? Once we got past our own businesses, first we looked at our business. We're like, shit's going to hit the fan. What are we going to do about our business? Because I'll tell you what happened in the first 2 weeks of COVID. Our biggest clients dropped their staff by 90%.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Right. We were like, this could put us out of business.
This is crazy. Right? Yeah. And you were feeling the pressure at that point.
We were. And so we war roomed. We came together and we're like, first of all, how can we fix our business? And we came up with some great stuff. And then we're like, okay, how can we help other people's businesses too? How can we make a difference? Because at the end of the day, we're educators, we're edutainers too. We like to have fun. And so we know that we can make money from the collective, right? We can show people how to be successful and still profit from it. That's a business model we've been doing for well over a decade. So we're like, how can we make all this stuff work? Well, first we started with our own client base. And luckily, a big chunk of it is we cut back on expenses. We made some changes. We went after some other clients. But what really happened for us, we got very lucky. And I'll tell you this, is that what do you do when you get, if you're an entrepreneur, you get socked in the gut, what do you do? Well, of course you get back up again, right? But you innovate, right? We typically don't innovate when we're coasting. We innovate when the shit hits the fan, right? And so
when it's too late, a lot of times. I did that in business, yeah.
Yeah, me too. But we do when our back's against the wall, right? Yeah. And so what happened was, even all of our clients at 1, 2, 3 Employee are small businesses. Even the big companies that have 100 agents with us, they're still small businesses by definition. And so what do? In the face of adversity, you're forced to innovate, right? And so what happened was all our clients innovated. And so, for example, I'll give you one of our examples. So one of our biggest clients sold drones. They're in e-com. They sold thousands of drones every day. COVID hit and they were selling none. Okay. So what did they do? They're like, okay, we're going to pivot. Now we're selling N95 masks and hand sanitizer. And they took off like a rocket. They tripled their staff with us, tripled. So many of our clients came back fighting and did it in a really great way. So that helped us out. So then 5 months ago, we're like, all right, Chad, what are we going to do to make a difference here? And so we came up with this grand idea to do a 3-day live online masterclass where we would show entrepreneurs and future entrepreneurs how to start their own home-based business, their own online business in 3 days, which is insane. Now, this is something we've been actually doing. We've been helping entrepreneurs do this for a long time, but we said, hey, let's do it in a big way. Let's figure out a way to get 10,000 people on this live stream and do it in real time. And on our masterclasses, we actually show people how to generate leads in real time. So you will actually generate leads while you're online with us and attract your first customer. It's an incredible process. Thousands, tens of thousands of people have gone through our process, but this will be the first time 10,000 people do it all at once. And quite frankly, I think we may have 20,000 people on the live stream. We already have. In fact, I'm just going to show you. So right now,
how many you got?
So here we are in the war room. We're all working on a Sunday. A couple
hey guys,
they'd ask, "Hey, wave hi, came in." Okay. Now, if you look over here, you see that number right there, 86,000. Okay.
86,000 people registered.
We currently have 86,000 people registered for our 3-day masterclass, which starts on Monday. And we know that by Monday night, we should have 100,000 people registered. And that was the goal. I can't believe not only can I not believe that we hit the goal, but I also can't believe that we're literally going to hit the goal.
The goal. Yeah, you're going to go beyond that, beyond big, right?
Yeah, but I think we're going to go beyond, but just a little bit. Like literally, I just think it's ironic that we didn't hit 85,000 or 110,000. We're literally going to hit 100,000, and it's been weird. We put the word out on the masterclass. I think we launched on Monday. And it's kind of been going up like 10,000-ish a day, which is interesting. Well, let's see. If we start on Monday, I guess it's been more than 10,000 a day. But and so it's influencersoft.com/3-day. And we are charging for the masterclass. But Jesse, because you're a sponsor of the masterclass, we're giving away free tickets to all of your followers that go to influencersoft.com/3-day. They're going to get free tickets. And they can come. It's all online. It just takes place in the evenings. We go live at 5 p.m. PDT, 8 p.m. EDT. And if you've been on a webinar before, learned something great, that's amazing. But on our 3-day masterclass, you're not just learning, you're doing. You will be generating leads in real time. You'll be generating online leads on social media, as a matter of fact. Now, it's a big, bold claim for us to say, hey, you're going to do it all in 3 days. So what we have to do is we have to prep you in advance. So you'll find that when you go to influencersoft.com/3-day and you get registered, unlike a webinar where you're just, okay, congratulations, you're registered, you're going to get some confirmation emails. It's very different. So when you register with us, you'll be dropped into your membership where you'll actually go through a series of steps to prep yourself for the 3-day masterclass, because we have a lot to do. So you want to think of it as your business starts now, not even on the class. Now, it's coming up any minute, so you want to get on right away. Get on the 3-day masterclass, get registered so you can start going through the prep.
Absolutely, guys. And if you're out there, this is the masterclass of the year for you guys to check out, especially if you're trying to start an online business in 2020, where if you don't have an online business, you need an online business. And people are asking, is he going to be helping people in InfluencerSoft, our software platform? And that's what we're gearing up for. That's why I'm working with Daven. We're working on our partnership right now. We've been working on our launch, and he's been working on his launch. So we're helping each other launch. And then we're coming together when the dust settles, and figure out how to support you guys, because there's a lot of people on our platform that are using other platforms. They want to switch their stuff over. They want to get their social media going. We have a certain amount of bandwidth with my digital agency, but we like to kick it up a notch and leverage Daven's resources and everything that he has. And all of our people, we signed up over 1,000 people for InfluencerSoft since the beginning of the year. We just signed up 100 this last week. They're all asking, how do I get this going? How do I do this and do that? It's like, well, you're going to have to get in with Daven's network and all the things and all the resources he's been building. So go check out this 3-day masterclass, start going through the materials, start figuring out, okay, this is the mindset. This is what I need to do. This is a shift of me to get set up. And then we can work with you and start taking action, because now's the time. We don't want the economy, if it gets worse and worse and worse, you want to get set up now while you still can, while the resources are there. And Daven's providing so many resources. He's been building this network for 14 years, and he's providing the exact offers and the exact structure for you to be able to come in and utilize it in your business. Okay, so I put the link in the chat. You guys can see it there. Just go there, click the link, or just go to influencersoft.com/3-day, register, grab your spot, because is there limited spots to this? Or
there are. We currently have 10,000 slots available, which sounds like a lot, but obviously you can see we have, we have almost 100,000 people registered. We're going to expand it, so we'll be able to get 20,000 people on live. So we're working on that right now.
Yeah, let's just say he doesn't just have me promoting it. He's got like 500 other people promoting it, and a lot of them have large lists. So the 10,000 is going to go like that. Jump in, grab your spot, and let's get rolling. And congratulations on this big launch, Daven. I mean, what you're doing is huge. Your follow-up and your whole process and your team are absolutely crushing it. You can see why you're super successful. people and why you're changing lives all over the world and changing businesses. And I like the fact you pivoted. You're like, okay, well, it's not just like our business. We got to help our clients innovate. So then they need us more because, we've been hiring different people and doing different things. My team's grown by over 15 people since the pandemic hit. But that's because of all the stuff that's going on and how it's, how you structure it. And, Daven's a master. You guys are going to learn a ton. Make sure you click that link in the chat. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to pin it to all the top of all the pages and everything that it's in after this is over. But make sure you go to influencersoft.com/3-day. Check out Daven's masterclass over those 3 days. It's going to take you to the next level. You're going to be hands-on going through it. And then what's going to happen coming out of the back end of it is going to be amazing. So we're blessed and honored to have you here, bro.
Blessings all mine. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you all out there. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the 3-day business masterclass coming up soon.
All right. Awesome, guys. Well, go ahead and click that link and join. Is there any last words, any last thoughts that you want to
Get signed up now. Go through the lessons. They're short lessons, a minute or two a piece. That way you're prepped and ready to roll. We'll see you live and be ready to start your new biz. Oh, and one more thing. If you currently have a biz, come anyways, because we're going to show you how to take your lead gen to a whole new level utilizing our digital business card door opener. So that's all coming too.
Yeah. And all that stuff, we want to implement everything that we got into what we're doing, guys, and Influencer Soft. Some of you guys out there, you're like diving in the platform. It's great. Well, a lot of the tools and resources and things Daven's got, we're planning on doing some things together. We won't tell them all about that. Just focus on getting in early to this web class, going through it, and then you'll see what we'll do together moving forward, me and him. So he's a good guy, great guy, partner of ours, a guy that I would put on here all day. We're going to make sure that we contribute as much as possible to Daven's world. He's doing amazing things, helping us grow. And make sure you guys join. All right, man.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Bye, guys. We'll see you real soon. See you in the next Beyond Big Influence episode. Take care.